Long Island medium Theresa Caputo returns to FireKeepers Casino. Theresa Caputo, known as the Long Island medium, is set to come to Battle Creek. The world-renowned medium will be at the FireKeepers Casino Hotel Event Center on November 14th and 15th at 8 p.m., according to a community announcement. The event is part of her live show, Theresa Caputo Live, The Experience, where she says she communicates with spirits. Caputo is known for her TV series Long Island Medium, as well as appearances on several popular shows including The Drew Barrymore Show, Jimmy Kimmel Live, and The Today Show. She has also authored 5 books, 2 of which are New York Times bestsellers. Theresa Caputo has built quite a following here at FireKeepers, and we're excited to have her back for 2 nights this fall. Her shows are always a big draw, and she brings such a unique energy to the stage. Guests really connect with her, and it's always a powerful experience to be part of, Jim Wise, Vice President of Marketing at FireKeepers, said in the announcement. The experience isn't about believing in mediums. It's about seeing something life-changing. It's witnessing first-hand spirit communication, Caputo said in the announcement. Starting at $69 plus fees, ticket prices are subject to change. It is important to note that purchasing a ticket does not guarantee a reading from Caputo. The event aims to create a personal experience for attendees, with Caputo's personal stories and humor resonating with her audience. The stage will have a full video display to ensure everyone in the theater can see and hear clearly, regardless of their seat location. FireKeepers' upcoming entertainment lineup also includes performances by Sam Hunt on August 8th, Bill Engvall on September 6th, and Little Big Town on October 4th. However, the hospital room was dimly lit, with only the soft hum of machines breaking the silence. Julia sat quietly by the window, her once vibrant eyes dulled by months of chemotherapy and exhaustion. Stage 4 breast cancer. That's what the doctors had said. And though she had fought hard, her spirit was starting to fade. Her sister, Rebecca, refused to give up hope. She had tried everything: new doctors, alternative treatments, support groups. And now, out of sheer desperation and belief, she had booked a private session with Long Island medium, Theresa Caputo. Theresa entered the room with her usual calm and confident demeanor. Dressed in her signature leopard print and sky-high heels, she greeted Julia warmly. "Hi, sweetheart," she said, her voice gentle. "I know you're tired, but someone on the other side is pushing me to talk to you. She's not letting me rest until I get this message through." Julia's brows furrowed. "Who?" Theresa closed her eyes for a moment and inhaled deeply. "It's your grandmother, Mary. She says you called her Mimi." Julia gasped. "Yes. Mimi passed away when I was 15. She's showing me a blue ribbon and holding your hand during chemo. You felt something cold on your hand during your last treatment, didn't you?" Julia nodded, stunned. "I thought it was just the air conditioning." Theresa smiled softly. "That was her. She's been with you every step. And now she has one very clear message. Don't stop fighting. You're not done yet." Tears welled in Julia's eyes. "But I'm so tired, Theresa. I don't know if I can do it anymore." Theresa reached for Julia's hand. "Your grandmother says your story's not over. She's showing me sunflowers and a little girl. Did you once say you wanted to grow sunflowers with your daughter?" "I never had children," Julia whispered. "But I always dreamed of it." "Well," Theresa said, "Mimi is telling me that there's still time. You're going to inspire someone with your story, maybe a young girl who looks up to you like a second mom. But you've got to hold on a little longer." Julia sat quietly, her chest rising and falling slowly. For the first time in weeks, a flicker of hope sparked in her heart. Julia returned to the cancer center, not for treatment, but to speak. She had started a blog titled Keep Fighting, sharing her journey, her pain, and the message she received that changed her life. Women from all over the country reached out, thanking her for her strength and vulnerability. She still faced treatments, still had hard days, but she no longer faced them alone. Mimi's words echoed through her every day. And on the windowsill of her bedroom, a pot of sunflowers, reaching for the light. However, it was a cloudy afternoon when Theresa Caputo arrived at a modest home in Patchogue, Long Island. The air felt heavy, not from rain, but from grief. She had been invited by a woman named Karen and her husband Miguel, who had recently lost their 7-year-old son, Lucas, a bright-eyed boy with Down syndrome, who tragically drowned during a summer picnic by the lake. As Theresa stepped inside, she immediately felt the energy shift. "Did he love the water?" she asked before even sitting down. Karen clutched her chest. Her voice trembled. "Yes." He would splash and laugh for hours. The lake was his favorite place. Theresa closed her eyes and held her hands out, taking in the emotion. "Your son is here, and he's showing me blue floaties?" And he's laughing like a high-pitched giggle. Karen's eyes welled up. That was him. We always put on his blue floaties. But that day, her voice cracked. Theresa reached out and gently held her hand. "You don't need to explain. He's not showing me the moment he passed. He's showing me joy. The way the sun felt on his skin. The way the water tickled his toes. He wants you to remember that, not the pain." A soft wind rustled the curtains. Theresa turned toward it. "He's saying, 'I'm not scared, Mommy. I saw light. I saw you smile.'" Miguel, who had been silent, broke into quiet sobs. He always looked for her smile when he was nervous. Theresa nodded. "Lucas is with an older woman. Feels like your grandmother, Karen?" Very gentle energy, holding his hand. Karen gasped. "My abuela. She passed when I was pregnant with Lucas. She tells me, the boy is safe. He is loved. We danced together in the clouds." Theresa paused. "He's also showing me a toy car. Did he have one he wouldn't go anywhere without?" Karen picked it up from the mantel, a small, red, dented race car. "He called it Lightning, like from Cars. He slept with it." Theresa smiled softly. "He wants you to keep it near your heart. It's how he visits. You may even feel him climb into bed some nights. He says, 'I still cuddle, Mommy.'" Karen broke down, the pain beginning to lift as tears flowed freely, a release long overdue. Before Theresa left, Lucas had one final message. He says, "I can swim now, with wings." The wind stopped. The room was silent, but in that silence healing began. However, it was a chilly fall afternoon in Long Island, the golden leaves dancing across the quiet streets of Hicksville. Inside a cozy, candlelit Theresa had always said her gift wasn't a choice, it chose her. Since childhood, she had heard whispers from beyond, felt cold brushes of unseen presences, and sensed emotions that weren't her own. But it was on the TLC show Long Island Medium that the world truly saw the extent of her incredible gift. And today's reading would be one she'd never forget. Theresa was scheduled to meet a woman named Linda, a music teacher from upstate New York who had lost her teenage son, Jordan, in a tragic car accident 3 years prior. Linda had seen countless therapists and even tried hypnotherapy, but her grief remained a heavy blanket over her life. She hoped Theresa might offer the one thing she hadn't received yet, peace. As the cameras rolled and the crew adjusted their positions, Theresa sat across from Linda and immediately gasped. "Oh my God, he's already here," Theresa whispered, holding her chest. "Do you hear music? Like someone's playing the piano?" Linda's eyes welled up. "Jordan, he used to compose music at night. He said he could hear melodies in his dreams." Theresa closed her eyes and tilted her head. "He says, 'Mom, you never finished the song. He keeps showing me a red notebook. Did you find a song he was working on?'" Linda's hands trembled. She pulled out a weathered red composition notebook from her purse. "I found this under his bed. The last few lines, they just stop." Theresa placed a hand over Linda's. "He says he's been sending you the rest of it in your dreams. That melody you keep hearing? That's him. He wants you to finish it." The room grew silent. Even the crew stopped breathing for a moment. Then, Theresa smiled. "He's a piece, Linda. And he's proud. He wants you to keep teaching, but don't forget to play your own music too." Linda broke down, sobbing softly but with a look of relief, like a weight had lifted after years of silent pain. After the session, Theresa walked outside with her assistant, her signature big hair bouncing with every step. "You okay, T?" the assistant asked. Theresa nodded. It never gets easier. But when spirit brings healing like that, it reminds me why I do this. The camera panned to Theresa, looking out over the Long Island Sound. In voiceover, she spoke. Some people think talking to the dead is weird, even scary. But for me, it's love. It's connection. It's the message someone needs to move forward. I don't just talk to the dead. I help the living live again. Weeks later, Theresa received a letter from Linda. Inside was a CD titled, "The Song That Never Ended." The melody was haunting and beautiful. On the back, Linda had written, "Finished with Jordan's help. Thank you, Theresa, for being the bridge between two worlds." Theresa held the CD close to her heart, whispered a quiet thank you to Spirit, and looked up at the sky. "Another message delivered," she said, smiling. And the whispers continued. However, it was a cloudy autumn afternoon when Theresa Caputo pulled into a quiet suburban neighborhood in New Jersey. The trees were shedding their golden leaves, painting the streets with fading life, much like the soul of the woman Theresa was about to meet. Inside a modest one-story home lived Maria Sanchez, a 45-year-old mother whose life had come to a crashing halt just 6 months earlier. Her son, Julian, only 17, had been tragically killed in a random drive-by shooting while walking home from school. A bright, kind-hearted teen with dreams of becoming a firefighter, gone in an instant. Maria hadn't spoken much since that day. Her friends and family tried everything: counseling, prayer groups, even moving to another town. But her grief was rooted too deep. It was her sister, Rosa, who reached out to Theresa Caputo, the Long Island medium, in a desperate attempt to help Maria find peace. Theresa entered the home quietly. The living room smelled of cinnamon candles and old tears. Maria sat on the edge of the couch, arms folded tightly, as though holding herself together by force. "Hi, sweetie," Theresa greeted warmly, sitting across from her. "I know you don't know me, and I know you're not here for show, but I feel your pain, and I promise I wouldn't be here unless your son was." Maria blinked slowly, her lips trembling. Theresa closed her eyes and tilted her head. "He's already here. He stepped in before I even rang the bell." Maria gasped. Her hands instinctively flew to her chest. "He's showing me a red hoodie," Theresa said gently, her voice breaking. "Did he wear a red hoodie that day?" Maria's tears started flowing. "He wore it every day," she whispered. "It was his favorite. I kept telling him to wear something else. He says, 'Don't blame yourself, Ma. I didn't go out that day because of the hoodie. It was just time. But I'm okay now. I'm safe. And I still feel your hugs every night." Maria sobbed into her hands. For the first time in months, it was not out of helplessness, but release. "He keeps showing me a dog," Theresa continued. "A small white dog. Chico." Maria gasped. "Our little Chihuahua. He was Julian's best friend. He says Chico still waits by the door, just like you do," Theresa said, her eyes brimming. "He wants you to stop waiting. Live for him now, Ma. He says, tell her she's still my hero. Every single day." Maria shook as a flood of emotions overwhelmed her. "I thought he was afraid when it happened." "No," Theresa said softly. "He says he wasn't afraid. He wants you to know it happened fast. He didn't suffer. And his last thought wasn't fear. It was you." He said, "Tell her I saw her face. I was thinking of her smile." Maria burst into tears, this time clutching Theresa's hand. "I've waited so long to know if he was okay." "He's not just okay, Maria. He's still your boy. Still with you. And he's so proud of you. He keeps calling you his angel on earth." That night, Maria sat beside Julian's favorite chair. For the first time, the silence in her house didn't feel hollow. It felt warm. Theresa had already left, her work complete. But something stayed behind. The grief would never disappear, but through Theresa's gift, Maria found something she thought she had lost forever: hope. However, it was a snowy December evening in Hicksville, Long Island. The Caputo home was glowing with thousands of twinkling Christmas lights, and Theresa was already in full holiday spirit, her signature big blonde hair done up with a glittery red bow, peppermint earrings jingling with every step. But this year, something felt different. Something more emotional. Something bigger. TLC was doing a special holiday episode called Best of the Holidays, where Theresa would do surprise readings for people who were experiencing their first Christmas without a loved one. She knew this wasn't just about readings, it was about healing, hope, and honoring memories. Theresa got a message from a woman named Elena, who lived just 2 towns over. Elena had lost her husband, Marco, earlier that year in a tragic car accident. Marco had been the kind of man who decorated the entire house in lights, played Santa at the local school, and made the best homemade eggnog in the neighborhood. But now, everything felt cold, quiet, empty. Theresa, sensing the urgency in Elena's words, decided to visit her personally. When Theresa walked into Elena's house, she was met with the dim glow of a small Christmas tree and the scent of gingerbread trying to mask the sorrow in the room. Elena greeted her with teary eyes and a weak smile. Her 2 young kids, Luca and Mia, peeked out from behind the couch, curious and hopeful. "Hi, honey," Theresa said gently, sitting down on the couch. "I don't know if you believe in what I do, but your husband Marco's been around me since I walked through the door. He's very loud. He wants you to know he's okay." Elena gasped. That's what he was always like. Always the loudest in the room. Theresa closed her eyes and placed her hand on her heart. "He's showing me a Santa hat. Did he dress up every year?" Elena nodded. "He wore the same red velvet hat since the day we met. Wouldn't take it off until New Year's. He says he wants you to wear it this year. He wants you to be the light, Elena, just like he was. And he keeps saying, 'Tell Mia I still see the angel she put on the tree.'" Mia's eyes widened. "I put it on last night. I told Daddy I hoped he saw it." Theresa smiled, now tearing up herself. "He did, sweetheart. He said it sparkled like your smile." Inspired by the reading, Elena decided to honor Marco by recreating his magical Christmas displays. Neighbors helped string lights. Friends brought ornaments. Luca wore his dad's Santa hat, and Mia handed out candy canes just like Marco used to. And on Christmas Eve, Theresa returned with a surprise, a recording of Marco's old voicemail message, gifted to Elena by Marco's brother, who found it on an old phone. As they played the message, Marco sang, "Hey, it's me, Santa Claus. Be good, or I'll eat all your cookies." The room filled with laughter and tears. As the night ended, Theresa stood outside Elena's house, watching the lights glow and children laugh. In the holiday season, spirit isn't just about decorations or gifts, she said to the camera. It's about love, connection, and remembering that even when someone's gone, their presence can still light up the darkest nights. Back at her own home, Theresa lit a candle beside a photo of her late father. She looked up, smiling. "Merry Christmas, Dad. Hope you liked the show." However, it was a humid Thursday afternoon on Long Island, and Theresa Caputo had finally carved out a few precious hours for self-care. With her signature blonde hair overdue for a touch-up and a deep conditioning, she strutted into Salon Belleza, her go-to hair salon in Hicksville. The bell above the door jingled as she entered, announcing the arrival of the Long Island medium herself. Inside, stylists bustled with blow-dryers and curling irons. Laughter echoed through the salon as women exchanged stories, sipped iced coffee, and flipped through magazines. Theresa smiled, taking it all in, but she felt that familiar tug. Something, or rather someone, was there. "Hey, Theresa," called Gina, her longtime stylist. "Chair 3's open. Come sit. We'll work our magic." As Theresa sat and took her cape, she scanned the room. Her eyes landed on a woman in her late 40s sitting 2 chairs over. She had dark auburn hair, tear-swollen eyes, and the unmistakable energy of someone in emotional pain. Theresa's chest tightened. A male spirit was with her. Young, playful, heartbreaking energy. "Excuse me, I don't mean to interrupt," Theresa said gently, turning toward the woman. "But I'm a medium. I communicate with spirits. And I have a young man here who's very insistent about reaching you." The salon fell silent. Even the background music seemed to fade. The woman froze, her hands trembling. "I'm sorry, what did you say?" He said, "Mom, I didn't mean for it to happen." He's showing me a baseball glove, and he says he loved how you always came to his games, even the rainy ones. Tears sprang to the woman's eyes. Her lips quivered. "My son, Jeremy. He passed 2 years ago in a car accident. He was only 17. He played baseball since he was 4. Theresa nodded, her voice soft but unwavering. "He wants you to know he didn't suffer." It was instant. "He says he still hears you talk to him every night before bed. You keep asking if he's okay." The woman broke down crying, covering her face with her hands. Gina, the stylist, brought her tissues. The other women in the salon sat in stunned silence, many blinking back tears. "He's okay," Theresa said, touching her heart. "He's more than okay. And he's still with you, especially when you leave the porch light on. He says, 'Tell Mom I see it every night.'" The woman gasped. "I do that. I leave it on every night. I told him it would always be a light to guide him home." A collective sigh moved through the salon, as though the room itself was exhaling with her. Theresa reached out and took her hand. "He's home, sweetheart. Just not the way we expected. But his soul is right here, and he loves you more than words." The woman hugged her tightly. "Thank you. Thank you so much. I didn't know if I could make it through another year." After the moment passed, the salon slowly came back to life. Blow dryers hummed again, conversations restarted, and laughter returned, but with a quieter, deeper tone. Gina smiled as she started brushing Theresa's hair. Only you could turn a hair appointment into a spiritual healing session. Theresa chuckled. "Hey, spirit doesn't wait for perfect timing. Whether it's the grocery store, the mall, or a hair salon, when they need to talk, I listen." And as the afternoon sunlight filtered through the salon windows, it wasn't just hair being transformed. Hello, lovely viewers. Welcome to my channel. I am Mina. Hope your day is so well. If you like the video, don't forget to subscribe the channel.